The first sword's sharp eyes caught a glint of pure wool among the children. Swiftly he drew his sword and thrust it towards the shoulder of the unsuspecting boy. The impact rendered the boy unconscious. Taking the opportunity, the first sword turned to Pio and demanded to know what he had seen in his room. Pio explained that until now he had managed to hide his extraordinary abilities, but his remarkable talent couldn't stay suppressed forever. Pio emphasized that someone as problematic as himself should be put out of the picture, suggesting that Pio was better off dead. But the second sword intervened, reminding them that Pio's skills were crucial for their assassination mission. His exceptional infiltration techniques were unmatched, making him an asset. The two swords exchanged sharp words, their disagreement evident. In the end, they decided against killing Pio immediately, opting instead to manipulate him in the future using a hell flute. It was clear that Pio's resistance was futile against the cursed poison. The antidote was administered to everyone. The first sword provided an explanation for the ordeal they had just experienced. Pio had infiltrated their hideout, causing the suffering they had endured. They emphasized that repeating such an action would lead to further agony. Meanwhile, Pio was in deep meditation, and it dawned on him that snake venom could counteract the cursed poison. In an isolated corner of their world, the other children searched for Pio, surprised by his choice to isolate himself for training. However, this seclusion was understandable as he was shunned by everyone. Pressing on, the group of children continued their journey. Unexpectedly, Pio appeared behind them, his presence carefully concealed. Yule confronted Pio, explaining that they were gathered to discuss the restriction. She deduced that he possessed an immunity to this restriction, raising questions about his true nature and abilities. Lin was convinced that someone had helped ease her pain during the restriction. She thought it might be Poe, and he admitted he knew about the binding restriction. He added that sharing this information wouldn't benefit him. Jackson called everyone his comrade, but Pure Wool disagreed due to recent conflicts. Then, they all made an oath to consider Pure Wool a comrade, and pledged not to betray him. Pure Wool finally revealed that it was the curse poison, a dangerous toxin. The poison stayed dormant, but reacted to the hell flute's sound waves, attacking the body. Luckily, Pure Wool was immune, so they needed to find a way to remove it. Everyone left except Li Min, who confided her real name, Li Sormin, to Pure Wool, hoping he'd remember. A faded day arrived, and the first sword announced their departure from the cave. Uold was tasked with leading the children outside. As the instructors left in baskets, joy spread among the kids. They were finally free from the grasp of the instructors. Pure Wool asked about the curse poison, and so Yule explained that some were cured, thanks to Li Min Suleiman's knowledge. The final step was leaving. The bucket descended, and they all climbed on board, reminiscing about their 7 years of hardship. Approaching the exit, Pure Wool tore his sleeve and blindfolded himself. He instructed everyone to do the same to prevent blindness from the intense light. After a painful struggle, they emerged into the bright world outside. Captain Gu Juyang of the Blood Shadow group met with them, swiftly ordering his men to usher everyone into carriages destined for Clearwind Manor. Their lives were to be reshaped to match the ways of the outside world. Even with his blindfold, Pio memorized the captain's voice. The carriages journeyed through mountainous terrain, finally arriving at their destination. Every person was warned. Any lapse in vigilance would cost them their life, following the captain's command. Rooms were allocated for each person, 3 to a space. Outside, Pio Wool finally took the chance to cleanse himself, relishing a moment that had been denied for so long. The sense of relaxation and enjoyment filled the air, but the instructors swiftly reminded them of their purpose, providing weapons that shattered their newfound peace. Amidst the serenity of Clear Breeze District's Great Moon Palace, Juyang and Lim shared tea. Juyang expressed gratitude for Lim's dedication and sacrifices toward the mission's goal. With assigned tasks complete, Lim's retirement was approved, along with the other 2 swords. A pang of regret swept over Lim, believing these gifted children deserved more than just a disposable mission. Juyang countered that destiny had already been written. Discussion shifted to the mission's sponsor. Doe's knowledge was limited, deeming it unwise to provoke a benefactor who paid generously. The goal was clear: elevate the Blood Shadow group to the level of the notorious 100-rate Union. Among the children, preparations for the mission buzzed. Pio Wool confessed his trembling anticipation. The latter desired to unleash pent-up frustration by taking lives. An order summoned them, clutching weapons for a secretive movement. Led by the 4th sword, they maneuvered through the forest until halted at a cliff's edge. Their objective unfolded: scale a mountain, infiltrate a structure mirroring their current residence, and strike a building within the Moon Palace. Fueled by fury and determination, they yearned to reclaim the site reminiscent of their agonizing underground prison. In a tranquil garden, young Seol Ran walked alone. The elderly master of brilliance approached. The leader questioned Seol's solitude, provoking a standoffish response. Seol's life was intertwined with the ongoing matter, causing her discomfort. The leader's anger flared at Seol's apparent arrogance, recounting the numerous favors she'd granted. Despite this, Seol dared to seek exemption, an act that further stoked the leader's ire. She tries to soothe her nerves and says that it's a student's duty to follow their master. The leader adds that if they don't get an answer today, their plan, 7 years in the making, will be put into action. She acts this way due to stress. Suddenly, another woman named Jonghwa arrives with news from King Shing. They've received the proposal they wanted, and the fate of the Amaze sect rests on the young Seol's performance. She assures the leader she'll do well, but all they can offer is pitying looks. Jonghwa asks how they should handle the assassination plan. The leader is unsure. On the side, a man named Pio rests, but he feels something's wrong. An enemy spear hits one of Pio's fellow assassins. Pio looks on in shock. An assassin hidden underground is forcibly brought up by an enemy named Yuginok. It's clear the assassins are under attack. Yuginok orders his soldiers to find and defeat the invading enemies from the King Ching sect. The assassins realize they're at a disadvantage and decide to retreat. As the King Ching soldiers search for them, the assassins escape and regroup. The King Ching soldiers are furious and chase after them. Suddenly, Yuginok hurls a spear, killing an airborne assassin. He takes down 3 more with his projectiles. The only one left is Pio Wool. Yuginok goes up against Pio Wool, but Pio Wool kicks the spear away just in time. He then kicks it back towards the enemies. As everyone watches, Pio Wool launches an attack, killing each soldier one by one. Yuginok narrowly avoids a spear grazing his face. Pio Wool knows the situation is dire, so he decides to retreat. Yuginok tries to follow, but he notices an injured assassin. Despite the assassin's plea for mercy, Yuginok kills him, stating that the group had invaded the Qingxing sect. Pio Wool kept running, thoughts swirling in his mind like leaves caught in a gust. He figured someone had given away their secrets to the enemy. The 4th sword and his henchmen had vanished before the ambush. It seemed likely they aimed to wipe out all evidence. The assassins were cut down, and suddenly a barrage of arrows rained toward Pio Wool. Some struck his chest, but still questions haunted his thoughts. He pondered if the Blood Shadow group had abandoned them, deciding to survive alone. The army spotted him, prompting a leap into the river for escape. Once on the shore, he found instructions etched into rocks, stained with blood. He realized this wasn't a simple trap. Many clans were involved in the hunt, not just the Blood Shadow group. Then, Li Min launched an attack on Pio Wool. He barely held on, relieved to see her alive. Li Min, however, was weakened, collapsing due to serious injuries. Pio Wool questioned her about the other assassins, learning most were dead. Soyawol and Song Tianwu's fate remained uncertain as they scattered. Li Min and a few others tried saving their own, leading to their downfall. Pio Wool gently laid Li Min down, helpless in the face of her impending death. She asked him to stay by her side till the end. As she lay there, Li Min found solace in not facing death alone. She wished for justice to prevail, wondering who was behind their plight. And as the world darkened around them, she mused that destiny had led them to this point. Their struggles had united them, and now it seemed fate had intertwined their fates with death. The question of who orchestrated this torment echoed in her fading thoughts. What will happen next? Find out next time by staying tuned for our future recaps. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great recaps.